Hello everyone. Thank you for joining in another great session. We're going to have an introductory session tonight where we kind of like introduce you to what we do here as a company, to the kind of services that we offer, and how we plan to help you secure your next role to add value to what you already have. So my name is Jules. I'm the CEO by the grace of God. This is JMD Consults Limited, and yeah, we're going to start now. Thank you very much for joining in. If you have any questions as I progress in the session, you could use the chat box to write your questions, and at the end of the session, I would take all questions that you might have, or a member of staff would kind of like pick these questions up and answer them if they can. Otherwise, I'll answer all the questions at the end of the session so that we don't have interruptions and everything runs smoothly. Thank you once again for taking out time to join the session today, and I hope that at the end of the session you would fully understand what we do. You will fully understand our services and how we would help you to attain your next goal and add benefits to what you already hold. So yeah, JMD Consult is a very it's a very focused organization, or I would say focused company. And what we try to do, or what we're trying to achieve here, is to provide mentoring and services. And the reason why we're going strictly mentoring is because we do realize that a lot of people in times past would go to would go for trainings, maybe in the area of project management, business analysis, testing, and its related fields. And then once they go for that training, maybe it's it could be like a 1 week training or 2 weeks training or whatever it is, they're left with all these new skills and knowledge, and they don't really understand how to apply these skills and knowledge. And it's just in their hands, and they can't really do nothing with it. But after years of experience, we realize that mentoring is the ability for someone to actually take these skills and knowledge and nurture them and help you, kind of like give you some coaching, give you scenarios, help you hold your hands and tell you what you're supposed to do with this knowledge and how you're supposed to apply them in your place of work. So because of that, we came together with this idea that instead of just training people on what they might already know, or instead of just providing training services and just kind of like chuck people out, let's go a step further by bringing mentors on board, bringing guys that have got years of experience in the areas of project management, years of experience in the areas of business analysis, software testing, digital media, and so on and so forth. When we bring these guys that are already working in blue chip companies that have got their own businesses and all that, we bring them together and they're able to hold your hands one-on-one because they have been where you want to go to. They understand the market, they understand the industry, they understand the tools that you're supposed to use, and so on and so forth. Now once we bring them together, they're able to nurture you, give you personal mentorship. They're able to coach you personally. They're able to give deliver group sessions to you in specific areas of project management or specific areas of business analysis. So this goes kind of like deeper than the normal training. This is kind of like a relationship you have with your mentor. You're presenting your mentor with questions that has been troubling you in these areas, or you've gone to a session, you've gone for a session, or you've gone for a training, but you didn't quite catch what the training instructor was explaining. You didn't really get it because you haven't really been in that environment before. You don't really understand how you're going to get in. Where do I start from? How do I break in? And so on and so forth. So you've got all these questions that people can't really answer because maybe they are so busy, or a lot of people are like, oh, you need to get it. But when you have a mentor, you can actually ask them these questions on a daily basis. You can go through certain things on the internet. You can go through sessions. You can attend sessions on various topics. And when you don't understand those sessions, or you can't really relate with those topics, you can now call up your mentor and speak to your mentor about it. And your mentor will give you examples, will paint logical scenarios, will advise you further, would explain it, kind of like breaking it down so you can really get the picture and help you understand what it is you're supposed to know about those specific areas. So as we go along with the introductory session today, I'm going to show you how JMD Consults provides an end-to-end service. In other words, from the time where you do not have a background in project management, you don't know nothing about business analysis, you don't know anything about software testing. We teach you what these fields are, and not just teach you, we mentor you, we hold sessions with you, and not just holding sessions with you, we give you the practical experience. In other words, we've got a platform where we run projects, where we execute projects for clients as well, and we allow you volunteer on those projects so that you can now use everything that you have learned throughout your training session. You can now use those skills, that knowledge, and work on the live project. It's better and easier for you to understand, for you to assimilate when you're working on a project, when you are placed in a project environment. And once you have done that, you continue with your one-to-one mentorship with your mentor, and you carry on with the coaching classes with your mentor as well, and he would help you design a very good CV, review your existing CV, and kind of like rebrand you so that you're ready to go out there and start searching for jobs. And in such scenarios, we also help you look for jobs, because we find that a lot of times that a lot of people have got this very good CV, but they do not really understand what jobs matches their skills and competencies. But remember that we have been training you, we have a relationship with you, we understand where your skill set is, we understand where your strength lies, we understand your competencies. So we are, already equipped with everything we need to be able to search for that right job for you. So we know the kind of specifications, job specifications to look out for. We know where you would better fit in, where you can get your foot in the door and start working on projects and start making getting your rates and all that. So we help you in terms of looking for a job. We help you with this job search, and once you have found the job and for example, you've been invited for an interview, what we do as well is that we'll help you prepare for that interview. No matter how many interviews you've got, we always at every time help you prepare for an interview, and all you need to do is just go for that job, interview rather, and secure your role. I know it sounds really easy, but it's an end-to-end service, like I said. How long depends on you, but we always advise that you remain with us for a period of 12 to 16 weeks. The reason why we give that time is because we want you to have not just the knowledge, we want you to have the practical experience. Remember that you're going to be working on projects during this time. Remember that you're going to be attending sessions, everyday sessions delivered by different mentors in the areas of project management, in the areas of business analysis, in the areas of software testing, and soon digital media, and and so on and so forth. So we've got these mentors that would be delivering mentoring sessions almost every day, and we've got this powerful collaborative tool called SharePoint, where everybody is kind of like the central unit. We've got our calendar where you could check for the sessions that are available, and you could plan to attend those sessions. And if, for example, you miss your session, do not be alarmed, because we have all sessions recorded. I mean, for example, this session I'm having is recorded. So if you were not here, or for whatever reason you couldn't make the session, you could always go back to SharePoint and listen to the section, and kind of like catch up with what is happening. When we have project meetings every day, when we're going to be meeting with our project sponsors, we're meeting with our product champions, we're meeting with product owners and clients, we always record those meetings as well. So if you're not around, you kind of like look at the minutes, because they're always, all documents will be stored. You can go through the minutes to catch up, or you can watch listen to the videos and watch up, kind of like catch up on where you stop. So you're not left alone at any point in time. It's a very, very good service that we are offering. And I'm just going to run through the slides that I've got here, just to give you a glimpse of what you're going to be learning with us and how we're going to be achieving success together, just to show you that you're not alone on this particular journey. Okay, So yeah, first of all, we're going to start. We usually start with project management. We teach you. We have a period of 3 or 4 Saturdays for people that are working, where we teach you project management. That I've talked about the mentoring service that we provide in project management, business analysis, software testing, and other related fields. So basically, you ask yourself this question: do you aspire to be a project manager? Do you want to be a portfolio manager or a program manager, managing not just one project, but a portfolio of projects, projects that could be similar in nature, or projects that are not similar in nature, which is a portfolio? Or do you want to be a project coordinator, a project support officer, a project administrator? I find a lot of my candidates going into the project management field as the start off as the project coordinators. The whole idea is to get your foot into the door. The whole idea is to have that breakthrough. You understand? I mean, for example, you might not be able to start off your project management career first as a project manager. You might need to work in the project environment. You might need to shadow the project manager. You might need to assist the project in some sort of ways. You might need to assist your project manager, work closely with your project manager, just to give yourself enough time to understand what the project manager does, how real his tasks and duties are, how tedious they can be, and so on and so forth. Now, once you have worked with them for a while, you can now update your CV and say, you know what, I've got this skills. And the reason why you would be able to do that is because a lot of the tasks and a lot of the duties of the project manager are usually delegated to the coordinator, or the PMO analyst, or the administrator, or the deputy project manager. So a lot of times, you find out that your project manager is not usually around. Maybe he's having meetings, with executives, trying to negotiate or trying to gather requirements or whatever it is. Most times they are not always on set. So you will find yourself always trying to put things together, making sure that the teams are working according to schedules, according to deadlines, making sure that the project is still in track in terms of the timeline, making sure that there are a lot of things that you're going to be doing in the project. So you might want to start off your project management career in that respect. Get your foot in the door. After a couple of months, then you're kind of like exposed to what the environment is. You understand the task and duties. Then you can now go ahead to apply for more senior project management roles. And once you have done that, you've been able to manage projects, you can now go ahead to manage multiple projects at the same time. However, all these are not just come and sit down and just learn how to do it. No, we've got techniques that we're going to teach you. We've got some techniques and strategies on how to manage projects, on how to manage a portfolio of projects, on how to manage a program of projects. We're going to teach you how to do that. We're going to teach you how to use the project management tools as well to manage those projects. So if you find yourself in any of these categories, where you want to start off a career as a software tester, as a business analyst, a PMO analyst, a program manager, project manager, or project coordinator, then this is where you need to be. So some of the duties of a project manager, or some of the things you're going to find out in project management, is that project management is a carefully planned and organized effort to accomplish a successful project. So what you're doing in terms of project management, you're managing the resources, you're managing the timeline, you're managing the cost of the project, you're organizing things, making sure that things are working according to plan. You're making sure that the limited timeline you've got to deliver this project, you stick to it. You're making sure that the project does not go out of scope. You know exactly what you're supposed to be doing within that timeline. You know how many people that you're going to be working with, and you know who is doing what. The project is clearly defined. You have resources. You've already you know how to apportion tasks to those resources. You know how to apportion costs as well, because you're managing the budget of the project. So there are a lot of things in terms of project management, and your job in that respect is to make sure that you're managing these resources, is to make sure that you're managing the client's timeline. If the client wants the project to be delivered within 3 months, you should be able to sit down with the client and manage that time, and manage the client's expectations. You should be able to prioritize the client's task, prioritize the requirements. What do you want us to do? How possible is it for us to do this within that 3 months? Is it possible? If it's not possible, then let's prioritize what are really the things that are really important to the project. What are the things that are really important and are immediate to the project? What the project cannot do without. So we should, or we could focus on that first, yeah, and the other ones we could focus on them, or we could do them if we still have enough time and if you have enough resources. So in project management, you will learn how to prioritize. You will learn how to manage your client's expectations. You will learn how to tell them if a project is going out of scope. You will learn how to manage changes that will come up. You will learn how to manage the cost that is given to you within that project. Again, it's not rocket science. It's not something that you're born with. There are strategies that you need to employ. There are techniques that you need to employ to be a very good project manager or to understand project management. And here we will teach you how to employ those strategies. We'll teach you how to use those tools. We'll teach you how to plan your project, and we'll teach you how to control, how to monitor, and how to finally deliver the product of that project. So these are some of the things that you're going to learn in project management. Some of the things that we're going to teach you here. We're going to teach you the definition, the Prince2's principles, themes, and processes. Now, some of you that are not based here in UK would not really understand what Prince2 is. Prince2 is the body, is like is best practice. Is what is recommended by the UK government that every project management professional should use to manage projects. So Prince2 says that if you use our principles, if you use our themes and processes in managing your project, you've got a higher chance of your project succeeding than if you're just running your project blindly. So we're going to teach you what the Prince2's principles are. How should you manage projects? How should you divide projects into different stages? How should you control every stage of a project? How should you make sure that you finish up a stage of a project before going into another stage? How should you manage risk in the project? How should you manage issues in the project? There are a lot of things that are going to be happening. For example, projects are going to have the project is going to have what we call stage boundaries. How do you manage those boundaries? So all these things we're going to teach you here at JMD Consults. We're going to teach you methodologies. Methodologies are ways of managing projects. For example, we have the waterfall methodology, we have the agile scrum, we have the Kanban methodologies. And that's the reason why I said in project management, there are techniques. And now these are techniques of managing projects. These are ways, or you could call them approaches towards delivering a product in a project. We're going to teach you how to use the waterfall approach, the agile approach, the scrum approach, the Kanban approach, and other approaches that project management has got. We're going to teach you how to plan. It's very, very important that the project manager, you learn how to plan your project, because remember, your client or the organization is trusting you with a budget. They're trusting you with a strict timeline. They're trusting you with a scope. What they need to do and what should not be done and all that. So you need to plan all this. You need to start assigning timeline to every task in the project. You need to start assigning resources, people, to every nitty-gritty task in that project. You need to keep an eye on the project. So as a project manager, you can't do all that without specific tools. And Microsoft has got tools that we could use. Oracle as well has got tools, and these are best industry standard tools, and they're called MS Project, and the other one from Oracle is called Primavera P6. We're going to teach you how to use these powerful tools in planning your project, in scheduling your project, in tracking every resource of your project to make sure you don't go beyond your stipulated budget, to make sure that you track everybody doing their work, to make sure that they are putting the amount of effort they're supposed to put in, to make sure that the project is progressing in the speed or the pace at which you plan for it to proceed. So it's very, very important that you keep an eye on your project, and we have the tools that you could use to plan your project, to schedule your project, and to track your project. We're going to also teach you governance and compliance. Your job as a project management professional might not be to start making laws, but might be that these laws in project has been made already in the project environment. Organizations already have their ways of managing projects. Now what they want you to do is to understand the ways that they manage the project and make sure that everybody complies to those ways. Make sure that everybody understands who is governing the project. Make sure that everybody understands where we store documents. Make sure that everybody understands how do we manage risk in this project. How is the project configured? Who are the executives in the project? Who are the VIPs in this project? Who are the external suppliers? What is the version controls we use in this project? How do we manage changes? What are the change management channels that change needs to go through? So all these things, you need to make sure that every team member in that project understands them, else you're going to have conflict, else the project will not be going as smoothly as you plan. Now we're going to teach you what governance is. I'm going to teach you what it means for a project to have proper compliance methods put in place. We're going to teach you different strategies of project management, which is very, very important as a project manager. We'll teach you how to manage risk. Risk is something that will definitely come up in your project. You need to keep an eye on those risks. You need to know how to manage those risks so they do not become issues. Risk is something that has not happened yet. Risk is something that has happened. So how do you make sure that a risk in the project will not become issue and therefore terminate your project? There are strategies on managing those risks, and here we're going to teach you how to use strategies to manage your risk. We're going to also teach you how to update your rate log. Your rate log is a log or register where you log in and you monitor your risk, your assumptions, your issues and dependencies. We're also going to teach you how to manage your reports and the different kinds of reports we have. We've got event-driven reports, we've got time-driven reports as well. When do you develop this report? When do you generate this report? Why are reporting very good? Well, reporting is very essential in a project because through reporting, the project manager and the executives can keep an eye on the project. They understand what's going on in the project. They're kept abreast of issues happening in the project. They can mitigate issues and risk timely because of constant reporting. Everybody is kept in the loop of what's going on. So reportings, they are quite very, very important, and we're going to show you the various number of reportings that are usually generated throughout the life cycle of the project and how you can control the project. What documents does the manager use to control the project? We're going to show you all that. We're going to explain and demonstrate how to manage projects in stages. It's one of the principles of Prince 2 for you to be able to know how to manage your project in different stages. Now, it's always very important that your project is broken down into stages, whereby every stage has got a list of activities that needs to be done. Every stage has got their milestone, their main deliverable. What do we deliver at the stage? What is that thing that once it's delivered, we can now go to the next stage? Yeah, every stage must have a boundary, must have a stage gate. So there must be authorization from one stage to the other. So let's finish up everything in this stage. Let's get the authorization. Let our clients, our stakeholder, the management, let them see what we have done and let them okay it. Let them look at what we've done and say they're happy with it. And once they've given us the authorization, then and only then should we go to the next stage. So it's very important that your project is managed in stages, that you keep an eye on your stage boundaries, you make sure that your deliverables are met, you make sure that you have authorization so that you have you have all your stakeholder on site, and once you have the authorization, then you can now progress to the next stage. And Prince 2 says that if you manage your stage if you manage your project in stages this way, you're able to have a bird's eye control over your project. You're able to manage your project. You're able to monitor your project from one stage to the other. You're able to deliver the project deliverables, and at the end of the day, you're going to be able to have all-round project and success. Yeah, we're going to also show you how to set up the PMO office, and the office that deals with the compliance, the office that deals with all the documentation of the project, the office that deals with the information that makes sure that the project is going according to plan, that makes sure that all the templates and documentations that will be produced throughout the life cycle of the project is properly kept, that makes sure that the governance of the project is kept, and so on and so forth. So we're going to show you how to set up that office from scratch. So it's not necessarily a building, but it's an office within the project whereby things are done in an orderly manner, whereby everybody is following the set rules, everyone is complying to the standards of the project and what has been stipulated. Everybody is following the same vision of the project, and we're going according to schedule. So the PMO office deals with that, and we're going to show you how to set up that office, just in case you get yourself in a project environment, and the environment hasn't got a PMO office to start up with. You can be tasked with the responsibility of setting up the office. Yeah, we're going to show you how to manage program, like I said earlier, how to manage portfolios of projects, a program of projects, and we're going to show you how to collaborate with teams, not just the teams that you can see, but virtual teams that could be that could span across different geographical locations. And we use a powerful tool called SharePoint. Like I said earlier, we're going to demonstrate how to do that, because we're going to be working with various teams anyways. So once you're here and you're working on projects, be rest assured that you're working on projects with teams that that are in different locations. For example, we've got teams in US, UK, Nigeria, Dubai, and so on and so forth. And the reason why we can all work together is because we use powerful tools, and one of them is SharePoint. I'm going to describe some of that tools later on as we move ahead. So yeah, so once you've gone through the program and you've started applying, these are some of the rules that we're going to be helping you to apply. We're going to help you apply as a project manager. You could apply as a program manager. It all depends on like I said, it depends on your strength, which would help you build. You could apply as a portfolio manager if you're able to manage projects, because obviously here we're going to teach you how to manage not just one project, maybe 2 or 3 projects at the same time, because we're going to be doing that here. So we're going to help you apply as a PMO analyst. And what is your task as a PMO analyst? Oh, that's very, very important. You are the backbone of the project. You are the person making sure that everyone is working according to schedule. You are the one checking the plan. You know what we're supposed to do today. You know who is supposed to be doing what. You're chasing the team members. Oh, you're chasing the BAs. You're chasing you're reminding the project manager of risks, of issues. You're making sure that things are not left unturned. Yeah, you're supporting all these teams. You're booking the meetings. You're making sure that the demo sessions are going on. You're making sure that the workshops are fully booked. You're making sure that you're sending minutes to every participant. You're making sure that everyone in the project, the team members, the stakeholders, they are kept informed. You're updating the calendar of the project. So you're very, very important, and every project needs you. They need a PMO analyst, they need a project support officer, a project coordinator that coordinates everything in the project and everyone in the project. They need you as a junior project manager for you to be able to shadow the project manager, especially if it's a very big project. Right? You could apply as a deputy project manager when you're aspiring to become a project manager in future, or you could also apply as a project administrator. So you can see that in project management we have various roles. It's not necessarily just one role, or a project manager. No, we've got different roles that you could assume in project management. And if you're someone aspiring to be a project or a program manager, you could start off as a PMO analyst. You could start off as a junior project manager. You could start off as a PMO, a support officer, supporting the project. Meanwhile, you're looking at what the team members are doing. You're looking at what the project manager is doing. You're understanding his roles. You're understanding his responsibilities. And within a short time, you could also start applying as a project manager, because you now understand what he does. You might have been tasked with certain responsibilities from the project manager. You might have been delegated certain tasks, and now you know how to. You're confident enough to manage a project of your own. You could start applying, yeah, as a project manager. So some of these the skills that we're going to be giving you here is not just for you to get another job. It's also for you to be fully equipped to be able to manage your own project as well. I mean, we all aspire to be entrepreneurs as well. You're going to find yourself managing. You're going to find yourself running projects. I mean, as ladies as well, you've got your home as a project. You've got weddings as projects. Anything can be a project. For you to be able to have your resources, you have a budget, and be able to manage that project, within resources, you should be able to know that you've got some project management skills going on. Now, why don't we harness that skill? Why don't we help you, make those skills stronger? Why don't we teach you how to use the best project management tools to be able now to manage bigger projects with bigger budgets, bigger timeline, and gain the trust of organizations and clients. And that's the reason why we are here. We're also very, very good in business analysis. We will teach you how to be a good business analyst. What I want to say at this point is, you're not choosing either project management or business analysis with us. It's an all-inclusive program. So once you sign up, we will teach you project management as well as business analysis. So it's not left for you to follow your career path where you naturally find your strength in. It's going to be left for you to attend sessions, to attend project meetings, and now discover that, oh, this is where I actually want to be. I actually want to further my career in project management, and I also see that I've got some business analysis skills. In a project environment, you're going to be communicating with different teams, with cross-functional teams, so you need to understand their languages. As a project manager, you need to understand the language of a business analyst. You need to understand some of the things that they do so that you can successfully have meetings with them. You can successfully communicate with them and engage them. So here, we'll teach you how to be a proper business analyst. What is the job of a business analyst? Now, the job of a business analyst is to elicit requirement. Eliciting requirement means that you're asking the client, what exactly do you want us to deliver? You're asking the board, what exactly, how are we doing in the project? What are the requirements of this project? What do you want to see in your website? What do you want to see us achieve in this system? What do you want us to achieve? What are the nitty-gritty things that you want us to do in the project? That is eliciting requirement. And it takes a skill for you to be able to ask the right questions, else you'll not be able to gather the right requirements of that project. So we'll teach you how to elicit using open-ended questions, using focus group, using interviews. We've got so many strategies of eliciting requirements, and the best way to elicit requirements. As a business analyst, you have to justify. So now you've elicited the requirement. You now have clients that are not really sure if they want to really go into this business venture. They're not really sure of the market. They're not sure of the people there. They're not sure of their competitors. They don't understand their competitors yet. So now what do? You give them more information. You justify the reason why they should go ahead with the project or why they should not go ahead with the project. So as a business analyst, you search for information. You give them research. You search the market. You know who their competitors are. You give them competitors analysis. You give them option analysis. You give them cost analysis, benefit analysis. You check for the strength of the competitors. You check for their strength. You check for the marketing strategy. How do we market this product? How do we come into the market? What strategies should we use? What are weaknesses? What are the opportunities? What are the latest trends in the market? How do we get competitive advantage? How do we gain how do we come above our competitors? What is the social implication of going into this new terrain? How do we get into this country? What are the legal implications? What is their system like? What is their purchasing power? What is the economic implication? What is the social implication? There are lots and lots of research that you're going to conduct as a business analyst. So the client or your organization is depending on you to come in and conduct such research. Or it might be a case of, oh, this is where they are and they want to update their processes. They want to make sure that they have competitive advantage. And for example, the trends are changing. Things are changing. Technology is taking place and taking over and all that. So what technology should we use? What is the best process should we use? So most times the business analyst will find himself conducting gap analysis as well. This is where we are now. This is where we want to be. How do we bridge that gap? What technologies should we use to bridge that gap? Yeah. So as a business analyst, these are the things that you're going to be doing. So you're going to elicit the requirements, you're going to justify the requirement, you're going to translate those requirements. Now you've justified the requirement, your client is happy to go ahead with the project because you've given him options, and armed with that information here you've given to him, he's now able to make a decision that this is what he wants to do, this is where he wants to invest his money, this is how much he's going to invest in this project. Now we're going to carry on with this project. How do you translate those requirements that you have gathered into a language that the technical team or the implementation team, because you're not, as a business analyst, you're not the person executing that project. Remember, you are that middleman between the business owners, the organization or your client, and those that would be implementing the project themselves. Yeah. So you are the one that will gather the requirements from the business owners. You are the one that would understand what the business owner wants, what the organization wants to achieve. You will now translate it. You would first of all document it and translate it, then communicate that requirement to the team that would be implementing or executing the project. So you're very, very important in a project. And we're going to teach you the techniques of understanding and eliciting and justifying and communicating this requirement to the execution or the implementation team, right? So these are the things you're going to learn as a business analyst. Remember, we're going to teach you all this. We're going to teach you project management and business analysis at the same time. So you have the best of both worlds. We're going to define business analysis, the reason why a business analyst is always very important in the project, and why you will never run out of job here. We're going to show you how to write a business case. Remember, I talked about justifying. Remember, I talked about research and all that. So the business case is an embodiment of all those research you're going to be conducting. So we're going to show you how to write a business case, how to conduct feasibility studies, how to research. The knowledge and the power of research cannot be overestimated. As a business analyst, you need to know how to look for things. We need to know how to search for things, and we need to know what your client is looking for. So we're going to teach you how to do that. We're going to also teach you how to develop softwares using a software development life cycle, how to manage software program, and how to manage, not just manage, but also how to work on projects that has to do with building systems, that has to do with building softwares using the software development life cycle. We're going to teach you how to estimate sprints. It's very important that projects are broken down into different little segments. We call them sprints. We're going to show you how to plan those sprints and how to estimate those sprints. We're going to teach you stakeholder management. You're going to find that in certain environments, you've got different stakeholders that want the same thing, but they will have different ways of achieving what they want. Now, how do you get all the stakeholders on site? How do you make them understand that these are the ways of achieving what they want and all that? So you have techniques on managing stakeholders, and we're going to teach you how to manage stakeholders. We're going to teach you user interface requirements, the whole process of requirement engineering, which is what I explained just earlier. Elicit your requirement, justifying, documenting your requirement, analyzing it, translating and communicating. We're going to teach you all that. We're going to teach you different project methodologies, the agile methodology, the waterfall methodology, how to map out business processes, how to conduct gap analysis, how to improve business process, and so on and so forth. So sometimes you might not need a lot of research. Sometimes a business just wants you to come in, understand the process that they are employing at the moment, look for what is wrong in that process, and try to make the process better for them so that they can have competitive advantage. So you need to be able to understand business process mapping and improvement, and we're going to teach you all that here. We've got mentors that will be delivering sessions on various topics that span across various areas of business analysis. Now, these are some of the roles in business analysis that you could be applying for, or that you could call yourself. Once you've gone through our program, you could be a technical business analyst. You could be an IT business analyst that's focused on the IT side of things, IT projects. You could be a business improvement and business analyst. Like I said earlier, you just go into a business, you understand what is wrong with that business, you understand the process. You could now develop, or you could now recommend various options, solutions that could help them, improve their processes. You could be a business analyst that is very good with research. I mean, a lot of the research data and all those things are things that, information that clients really need to make an informed decision. Organizations, they rely on data, they rely on research, they rely on resources to be able to make up their minds or to make useful decisions if they should go ahead with the project, if this project is feasible, is it viable, is it sustainable, is it scalable, and so on and so forth. So you could be the one providing such answers. And you could be a digital business analyst. You could be a business analyst that works, mostly on digital projects. So I mean, you could be any of that. It's it gives you a range of options where you can actually fit in. So whilst you go through the program, you would find your core, you would find where you're naturally drawn in. I always advise candidates, don't be too specific from the beginning. Just open up your heart, open up your mind, and soak in all this knowledge like a sponge. Take them in, attend the sessions, listen to your mentors, work on projects, use all the skills, make use of the resources we have, make use of the tools, because we're going to give you access to all our tools. And naturally, you find yourself naturally. I mean, when I started, I wanted to be a business analyst. I started as a business analyst, but today I'm a project manager. The reason is because as I was going on in projects, I discovered I was better off managing projects than, analyzing data and stuff like that. That doesn't mean that I haven't got business analyst skills. It means that I'm a project manager with business analyst skills. It means that I can manage projects, I can manage funds, I can manage resources. Yeah, at the same time, I can communicate with business analysts. I know what they do. I understand what they're doing. They can't come to me and tell me something and I'm like, what are you trying to, I don't get what you're trying. No, I get it actually. I understand what you're trying to do because I've got skills in that respect, but I'm not going to call myself a business analyst because I want to stay in a specific office. I want to run in a specific office and be good in that office whilst I acquire skills in different areas. So that is what we're going to train you to be, and that's how we're going to train you to think. Yeah. We also have software testing. I know we've got specialist mentors that are going to take you. I'm not a software tester, but I know a thing or two about software testing because in a project environment or in a project life cycle, especially projects that you have to work on systems, a project where you are developing a system. Maybe, for example, let me give an example where you're developing a website. Yeah, you have the project manager who is managing the whole project. You have the BA that will be collecting the requirement from the clients. What do you want to see in your website? What do you want to see in your digital platform, and so on and so forth. Now, once the business analyst has documented all those requirements and given it to the developer to develop it, we always have people that they've got to test the system to make sure that the system is working according to its design, to validate the system, to verify that what we are producing, the products we're going to give the clients at the end of the day, the product that we're going to give the organization at the end of the day is up to standard. It is doing exactly what it was set forth to do. How it was designed is working exactly how it was designed, is working as exactly how the users, how the client, how the stakeholders, how the executives exactly want it to do. So we've got testers, and these testers have got special skills to be able to bring out bugs from systems. They know how to find the bugs. They know how to look for the things that are wrong in the system. And the reason why they do that is because they want the things to, they want a situation whereby the system is working according to the design, like I said. So they've got different types of testing that the system will go through. We've got manual testing, we've got automated testing where we use the machine helps us test the system and so on and so forth. So we make sure that we test the system and the system's functionality, everything that is supposed to happen according to the design of the system, according to the specification and the requirements of the system, is working that way. So we've got mentors that will specially mentor you on software testing, and we've got various sessions that will be going on every single day on software testing. So if it's somewhere that you desire to start a career in, you can always go into that. Again, you need to understand a little bit about software testing to be, well-rounded, even though you're not going into that area. Yeah, just like I explained earlier. So these are some of the things that you're going to learn. I mean, last week and the week before, we had our software mentor in-house, so he was able to talk for about 20 minutes. I think it was 20 minutes. He talked about the software testing, the things you're going to learn and all that, but he's not here today. However, once you sign up and you start the program, he's going to be in here to take you on some sessions, and we have another software test as well that will be giving you other sessions in software testing. So you could choose any one of them, and they could be your personal mentor. So they're going to teach you the Vim mode and agile methodology in testing, how to test using the unit and black box testing, as it is called, how to write the test plan. For you to be able to test, you need a plan. So you need to know how to write a test plan. They're going to teach you how to write a test plan. They're going to teach you how to analyze the business requirements, because remember I told you a project has got different teams. So you can see that some aspect of projects are kind of like dependent on another aspect. For example, the testers, they depend on the business analysts, they depend on the developers. Yeah, so they're going to analyze the business requirement. They need to understand what the users want from the system. They need to understand the requirement, because they're going to use that requirement to test the system. So they need to be able to analyze and understand these functional requirements. They need to understand how to conduct functional testing. Yeah, because we need to make sure that the functions of the systems are working. You need to know how to conduct what we call user acceptance testing, because even after the testers are on site, after they have tested the system, the users will now have to come on board and test the system according to how they want it to be. So we've got different types of testing, as you can see. So you're going to learn how to create different test scenarios, test scripts that you're going to use to test the system, how to work with MS Project. You can see that I told you that these roles are kind of like intertwined. That's the reason why we try as much as possible to teach you all of them, because we can't isolate any one of them. You can see that the testers would have to also learn how to use MS Project, how to work with MS Project schedule. So you cannot say, oh, because I'm a tester, I'm not going to learn MS Project. No, you're going to need MS Project, because you're going to use their schedule. You need to understand the timeline that the project manager is working with. So you need to understand how important it is to test within specific timeline, how important it is to make sure that your test is finished within a specific timeline, so that the next phase of the testing can continue or can start, or the users can now come in. The users being the last people that will test the system can now come in and test the system and make sure the system is free of any bug and and defects. You also need to know how to report your bugs and defects using Jira, because we use Jira here. We're going to show you how to. Jira is a system that is used for bug defectment life cycle. We're going to show you, and everyone would have access to Jira. It's really, really cool, right? We're going to show you how to conduct monthly reporting, how to work in an office environment, also how to develop your CV, and how to apply for jobs as a software tester. This is really, really cool. So these are the things that we're going to be offering you throughout the program. So I'm just going to briefly explain the program structure. I think I've talked about this at the beginning, but I'm going to go through this again. So it's very, very simple. The way the program is structured is, first of all, you start by attending compulsory mentoring sessions. Now, our compulsory mentoring session is usually 5 days in a week, right? Monday to Friday, or 4 Saturdays in a month. The reason why we're leaning towards the 4 Saturdays is because we've got a lot of people signing up for the 4 Saturdays because of work. A lot of people work Monday to Friday, so they might not really have time to log into the live sessions that usually take place in the morning. However, on Saturdays, everyone is kind of like apt to log into sessions. So what happens is that for Saturdays, or Monday to Friday, you have mentoring sessions from morning till evening. The Monday to Friday one is from 10 o'clock till 4 p.m. In between, you have breaks, because it's a virtual sessions where you log in. You're going to have breaks, and your tutor or the person leading the session will tell you, okay, we can go for break for 20 minutes and we'll come back, we'll log in. So those are compulsory sessions, and the reason why they're compulsory is because they give you the foundation knowledge We always assume that everyone coming to the program do not have project management, business analysis, or software testing background. So we want to teach you from scratch, right? So once you have completed that first 1 week foundation or fundamental and compulsory session, we now have subsequent sessions, right? So those subsequent sessions are now delivered by different mentors. So what happens is that we get you connected to our SharePoint. We give you a unique username and password. We give you your unique email address, right? Now, once you're connected to our SharePoint is like a hub where we have everybody logged in. Now, the SharePoint has got calendar, has got meetings. We have group chats. We have people working together. You can see what somebody else is working on. We can communicate. We have our meetings. We work on tasks together. Yeah, we have our OneDrive where we can put in the business case, and everybody, as many as 100 people, can be working on a document at the same time. It's really, really cool, right? So what happens is that we've got our calendar where we're going to put all the sessions, the time of every session. Maybe on Monday we could have 3 different sessions. One could be BA, 2 could be project management, delivered by different mentors. So once you go into your calendar, right, you're going to see all the sessions for the week, so you can plan to attend these sessions. We're also going to put in all the sessions in terms of meetings, because we're going to be working on projects. Like I said, we would be meeting up with our project sponsors, our clients, right? So we have project meetings with clients, we have team meetings, we have different types of meetings. All these meetings are usually slotted in the calendar. So you know which meeting and what time, and you have the meeting ID, just like you came into the session today. Every meeting has got unique meeting details. You come into the session and you can collaborate. I mean, forget the fact that if nobody can talk right now because I muted everyone. In the meetings, everybody is unmuted, so you can collaborate, you can brainstorm, we can bring up ideas, we can produce good deliverables, right? That is how we collaborate here. So you have this compulsory mentoring sessions. After that compulsory mentoring session, you start working on projects. You start having subsequent sessions. For example, we have a mentor that will be teaching specifically how to use MS Project. We'll be teaching you how to plan, how to develop plan using MS Project. Yeah, so that mentor usually delivers an hour every single day, and his time is always in the calendar, so you know what time to attend, because you're going to use MS Project to manage our projects here. So this is really, really practical. So once you have these sessions every single day, you're attending them. And like I said, if you cannot attend any session, what usually happens is that we record the sessions, so that if you're available or anytime you're available, you can listen to the session. And we always have minutes in our project meetings, so we always have minute takers. We delegate duties here anyways. So if you're not available, or for some reason you missed a particular meeting, you can go back to the meeting minutes. Or if it's a live session, we have it recorded, like this session that is recorded. We can always listen to the session back again, right? So you log into these sessions, you make sure you attend your project meetings, because we are going to be delivering live projects. Some of these projects are client projects. They've paid the company to deliver, to execute these projects. But we want you to be a part of this project, so you can see how projects are being executed, how projects run through the project life cycle, how we use best practice, how we use industry standard tools to make sure that we control the time of the project, to make sure that we have control over our resources, to make sure that we use our tools properly to deliver a high quality project to our clients. And you're going to be having meetings with the client, so you're going to hear the client. You're going to see how the B is, the elicit requirement, and very soon it's going to be your turn to elicit requirement, because you could volunteer that, you know what, let me do the elicitation of the requirement today. Yeah, so you and your team would you sit down, you have a meeting, and you could now start writing the questions that you want to ask the client. So let's say, for example, 8 o'clock, you have a meeting with your client, and your client is live, and you could be the one asking the client those questions, and your team will just be taking notes. So it's really, really practical here, right? So once you do that, we're going to be having that every day or every other day. It depends on the calendar and the times that are there and all that. And as you do that, you also will be assigned to a personal mentor. So you're going to be assigned to a personal mentor that anytime you can call him up. So let's say, for example, you attended a session earlier on in the day on stakeholder management, and you don't really understand it, you don't really get it, because you've not worked in that environment before, you've not handled difficult stakeholders before, or you don't really understand what the tutor was talking about, you can ask your mentor and say, you know what, well, if I go for an interview and somebody should ask me how I was able to manage difficult stakeholders, what should I say? And your mentor will now start giving you examples, will now start giving you scenarios, will now break it down further for you. Do you understand what I'm saying? So the job of your mentor is to further coach you, not teach you, but to coach you, to bring out those things that you thought you did not have. You might not know that you managed difficult stakeholders before, but by speaking with your mentor and having private one-to-one sessions with your mentor, you would remember and realize that you must have managed difficult stakeholders in the past and you did not know. So that could be a very good example that you would use in an interview. So that is the job of your mentor. So you're going to be having sessions with your mentor. You could, it's between you and your mentor. You look for time that are suitable, for both of you. You could call him up and all that. It depends on the arrangement you have with your mentor. And he mentors you to make sure that you're ready for that interview. To make sure that, he would even tell you that, you know what, I think it's time you start applying because you're good to go. With all the knowledge you've been getting here, with the experiences you've been having, working on projects and all that, I think it's time for you to start applying. So your mentor will now help you write your CV. Your mentor will help you put down all the skills, all these competencies, because he has experience in writing CVs. He knows what he knows what organizations are looking for. He knows what the industry wants to see in the CV. So it's going to help you write an industry standard CV. That the moment you put it out, you see organizations calling you. Now, once they start calling you and start inviting you for interviews, we would prepare you for that interview. Your mentor will prepare you to make sure that you're ready for those interviews. We've got various interview techniques, we've got various questions, and we usually invite external interviewers to come and interview you first to see how good you are, to give you that confidence so that obviously if you go through their interview, you'll be better, you'll be filled with a lot of confidence to be able to stand in front of any interviewer and defend what you have done so far and tell them and be able to paint scenarios and give them examples and give them your competencies and talk about the skills you've got. We use industry standard tools here, which I'm going to show you very, very soon, and you could talk about it. The reason why we're going to be using these tools is because those are the tools that industries and organizations now are using. So we want to make sure that you are up to par, you're not obsolete, you're not outdated. They're quite expensive, but we need to use them here so that by the time you start talking about the tools that you've used, the time you start talking about how you collaborated with teams all over the world, how you use virtual collaboration, collaborative tools like SharePoint, like Office 365, and so on and so forth, they'll be kind of like really, really impressed. Yeah, so you get to learn, you get your CV written, you go for your job interview, and you square it up. And what is really, really good about us is that you do not leave the environment, because we've gotten a license for each person for a year. So we have got a Microsoft license for a year for everybody that will be signing up on our program. So you can be logged into our SharePoint and be able to collaborate with teams for over a year. Sorry, for a year, right? Once you have gotten the job, we can also give you support. I've got lots of my mentees. Sometimes they go to the toilet and they call me and they're like, oh my God, I'm going to deliver a presentation in the next 1 hour. What do I say? They're going to need me to start asking questions, and we can just go through various questions that they could ask. Or they come back home and they show us the presentation, or they show us the meeting agenda, or they show us whatever task that maybe their manager or the project manager or the program manager has given them to do, and we help you. We show you how to do them. We research with you. We go through the internet. We search for the best ways of delivering certain tasks and how you would not, or you should not miss your deadline. So we offer this job support for you until when you're comfortable and confident enough to carry on. It's not like you don't know it, but sometimes you just need a helping hand to be able to settle into your new role. So we do that here. Yeah, and because we work as a team, you'll always have people to help you, because this is where we network as well. So when you go to work and you find a task daunting, you just put in the chat group and ask somebody, and somebody will be able to pick it up immediately and help you with that particular task. So it's really, really cool what we are offering you in the platform here. Yeah, so I hope that makes sense. And if you have other questions, obviously we're going to ask you and we're going to explain further. So this is our mentoring framework. I mean, just like what I described earlier on. You attend group mentoring sessions. You attend one-to-one sessions with your mentor. You could choose any. I mean, we could choose, or you could um, apply to have any mentor from any field. If you want to go to project management field, we will give you a project management mentor that will mentor you and coach you in that field. Yeah, so you have the opportunity of attending any and every session. So we do not restrict to that, oh, just attend the business analysis session, don't attend the project management session. No, you can attend all sessions, and we advise you attend all of them until when you are sure that this is where you really want to be. Then you can now specialize in this particular field. That is where you now get your mentor that will now help you to further harness those skills and competencies, right? I've talked about the CV writing, the CV review, helping you with your interviews, making sure that you get your job until you get your job. Actually, we would mentor you until you get your job, and even when you get your job, we do not leave you. We are cool like that. So we help you settle into that job, right? And make sure that you're okay. And a lot of people, when they even get their job, they do not leave. They still want that network. They still want that, because sometimes, you need, a helping hand and so on and so forth. We always advise you that you do not rush to start looking for work or start looking for a new role just maybe after you finish your foundation and you think that, oh yes, I've arrived. I now know everything about project management. No. Why don't you still stay behind and work on projects? Stay behind and work with teams, work with different team members, work with BAs, work with project management professionals, work with testers, work with programmers, work with developers. Make sure you work in that project management environment and work there for about 12 to 16 weeks. Work with us. So let's help you. Let's give you that experience. Let's give you that real experience that you can defend. Let's show you how it's done. Let's give you a real life project. So don't rush out. Don't rush to start looking for job because you don't know it yet. You think you do, but you don't. But give yourself 16 weeks. Seriously. By 16 weeks, you look at yourself and you're like, no, my God, this is not where I was before. I think I'm good to start applying for jobs. You know what I'm trying to say? So we always advise you to stay with us up to 16 weeks so that you can get yourself fully prepared for the world out there. Yeah. So these are some of the tools that we use here. We use Microsoft Office 365. Office 365 is one of the best things that happen. It's like one of the best things in sliced bread. A lot of companies nowadays would not use Microsoft Office 2006, 2007, 2016 on your laptop, on your computer. No, this is a cloud-based product. So gone are the days that you're working and your manager asks you, oh, can I have this document? And you're like, oh, sorry, it's in the office. I just went out for lunch. Can you give me like 30 minutes? Let me get to the office. I'll send it to you. Nobody does that anymore. Where you are on your phone, as long as you've got a device that's got internet, you can log into your Microsoft Office using your username and password. You have all your documents there and you can send it to whoever you want to send it to. That is what we use here, right? So once you start your program with us, we give you a Microsoft license, like I said. So you have access to our Microsoft 365. You learn how to use Microsoft 365 because that is what organizations use, right? And it's going to be in your CV that you know how to use Microsoft 365. In other words, you know how to use Excel online, you know how to use Word online, you know how to use PowerPoint online, you know how to use Outlook online, not the tablet or computer version. I'm talking about the cloud version, the online version, whereby a lot of people can collaborate at the same time. I mean, you could ask my teams to collaborate using PowerPoint online, where 100 of us can work on that PowerPoint slide at the same time. This person is taking that session, that person is working. I mean, it's really, really cool. It's the best way of working collaboratively with teams. We use SharePoint. SharePoint is a hub. A lot of companies, especially if you are aiming to work for one of the blue chip organizations, you'll find out that they use SharePoint. And the reason why they use SharePoint because it's from Microsoft as well. Microsoft is like the best provider for any office and office solutions. You know that. So companies would usually go for the Microsoft suite, and most times they would go for SharePoint. You know what I'm saying? here in UK, 98% of the organizations in UK would use SharePoint for collaboration, and that is where all the teams will be logged in to. So we use SharePoint here, and we'll teach you how to use SharePoint, because you're going to be logged into SharePoint. Like I said, you have a unique username and password. From anywhere you are, you can always enter into SharePoint. You have your emails coming to your phone, and so on and so forth. We'll teach you how to use MS Visio. We use Visio for process mapping. Remember I told you about mapping out process and understanding the process instead of you explaining to an interviewer. So when I wake up in the morning, I would do this, I'll do that. If you want to be cool in an interview, just get MS Visio and start mapping out your process from maybe when you wake up to the end of the day. You can use MS Visio to map out that process, and they'll be wowed, right? So a lot of times we use MS Visio to show a kind of like a diagrammatic representation of various processes. And we're going to teach you how to use Microsoft Visio. We'll teach you how to use Excel for reporting. Excel can be used for a lot of things. We use Excel to log in our risk, assumptions, issues, and dependencies. We'll teach you how to use. We've got Excel mentors here that will be holding Excel sessions. So you that did not know, the only thing you knew how to do in Excel was enter data. We'll teach you different aspects of Excel, how to produce functions in Excel, how to do pivotal tracking, how to get how to use Excel for different functions in project management. Yeah, so we're going to teach you that, because we've got Excel mentors on board. Like I said, we're going to teach you how to engineer your requirements. Remember I talked about that when I was talking about some business analysis using Confluence. Confluence is a tool that is used to analyze your requirement, document your requirement, translate your requirement, and so on and so forth. It's really cool. We use Balsamiq for prototypes. We use Balsamiq for mock-ups. So most times your client or the organization or the project or the executive, they want to see what the real will look like. Yeah? So rather than sketching it, rather than just trying to draw it, there is a tool called Balsamiq. Balsamiq would help you design the fake up real. Will help you design the mock-up so that your client can have a view of what the real would look like when it has all the functionalities, what it could look like. So we use Balsamiq to do that, and you're going to see the BAs in action doing this. Yeah, we have the Primavera P6 and the MS project I told you about. We use that for planning. It's a very cool planning tool, and I've got an example here, but because of time I can't show you. But I mean, if you, after the session, you can research, you can just type in MS project in Google and you will see the interface. It's really cool. It helps you track your project, it helps you assign your project. It looks like Japanese at the moment, but we're going to teach you that, because we've got MS project mentors as well that will be running sessions every single day, and you would have access to your own MS project, so you can always learn and practice and know how to use MS project. So we use Jira as well when we start developing, and we go to the development stage, especially with the testing phase. Like I told you, when we start tracking bugs and reporting bugs and all that, we use Jira for that. And the best part is that you have got access to all these tools. So every time you attend a session and the tutor is showing you, or the BA lead is showing you how to use Confluence, you know what it's called? After the BA lead finishes, you can log into your own Confluence and practice what the BA has just done. Right? You can watch the video again and start practicing, because you have access to all these tools. You can practice, and that is what I did. That made me very, very good. Every time I attend a session, after the session, I spend another 30 minutes to practice exactly what I've just seen in the session. So it made me really, really good using Visio. In all the places I've worked, I'm very good using Visio. I can use Balsamiq. I can draw mock-ups by myself, right? I can use, I mean, there are a lot of software and tools that I know how to use, because I constantly practice and practice, and I became very good at it. And I can interpret data. I can interpret requirements using this software. So we're going to teach you how to do this. We're not just going to give you assets and say, okay, start using it. No, 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 no. We have sessions especially for you guys to learn how to use it before you start using it, right? So these are some of the things that we do. And another exciting thing about JMD Consults is that we execute projects for clients. So you're not in a training organization. You're not in a school. No, you're in a real life platform. Real life platform whereby we already have projects that we execute for clients. But we want to take you on board, yeah, to show you how we execute projects. We want to teach you project management and not leave you like that. We're going to further show you how we execute this project, right? So we've got projects that we execute for clients. We also have individual projects. So for example, if you, I can see some names here, but I don't want to call names obviously, but if you've got a project that you want us to deliver as well, yeah, we've got the resources, we've got the people, we've got everything you need for us to be able to deliver that project for you within time. So we've got people that got pet projects and it's been daunting on them. They've been looking for how to deliver this project. I can't do it on my own. I'm so busy. I'm working. In fact, it's been taking me, it's over a year now. I've not been able to finish this project. You can bring it to us and we'll finish it within your timeline and we'll deliver the project to you. So it could be anything. Project can be anything, but as long as we use the best practice, you will be sure that the project will be delivered within timeline, within the scope, and within the resources that is given onto us. Yeah. So we've got a platform called Into Projects. That is the platform where by the time you finish your compulsory sessions, you are logged into Projects. And Into Project is the name of the platform that would be delivering the projects and so on and so forth. Yeah. But we're going to show you all this once you start your program. So yeah, like I said, we've got the tools, the resources, the platform and everything, the framework for you to succeed. And the best part is that we mentor you until you succeed. So we don't leave you half baked at all. We don't leave you half baked. Yeah. So you come in, you learn, you collaborate with teams all over the world, and you learn how to execute projects, and we could also execute your project. So this is the framework that we use here. Remember I told you about breaking projects into different stages and making sure that every stage has got a list of things that needs to be done and how things should be delivered and all that. Here we've got that as well, because remember we deliver projects, so we also practice what we preach. Yeah, so you're going to learn how to divide your project into different stages and how to make sure that you manage your project or deliver your project one stage at a time until you get to the final stage. So we're going to teach you all this when you start your program, so don't worry about it. We're going to teach you different stages of projects, how projects will move from the project definition stage where you're defining the project, uncovering the needs of the project, what the project needs, what the stakeholder wants from you, what your client wants from you, what are their expectations and so on and so forth, what are their goals and the rest of them. Then you go into the planning stage, which is where the project manager will now plan the project within the timeline that's been given at the project definition stage, within the budget and all that. So you'll prepare your plan using MS Project, like I said earlier on. Once that has been done and approved by the client and the stakeholders or the organization, you can now go into the execution stage. A lot of things happen at the execution stage because the project manager will now have to be working to make sure he coordinates the work, make sure he delegates tasks, make sure he tracks the performance of the teams, make sure he communicates and liaises with team members and suppliers, make sure that the project is being delivered according to the set and agreed quality and standards. Make sure, there are a lot of things that happen in the execution stage. We are going to show you everything and teach you everything. Then once that is done and is tested and trusted, remember we talked about testing, then we can now go to the project closure stage. The project closure stage is a very important stage because there are a lot of things that happen at that stage as well. That is where the project manager will hand over the project to the organization. That is where he would brief the organization about any recommendations, about any ongoing maintenance, about every other thing that needs to be talked about. Then he would also seek authorization to close the project. He will write his end of project report. He would get feedback from the client and so on and so forth. Yeah, then he will finally close the project. So we're going to show you all that. This is just a breakdown of what happens at every stage. We're not going to go through all this now. However, when you start your program, we're going to be looking at every aspect. you will see how the BAs are falling. You will see what the project management professionals, what they do within this framework. You're going to see what the testers are doing. You can see, for example, you can see at stage 3 where my cursor is. This is stage 3. You can see U8 test, UAT test. You can see system test, bug fixing, sprint planning, and so on and so forth. So all these are the tasks for the BAs and the testers. If you go over here, you can see some of the things that the project management professionals, be it the project manager or the PMO analyst or the project coordinator, these are the things they're going to be doing. So you can see that as we move from one stage to the other, different teams are doing different things and all that until we get to the last stage, which where we deploy and close the project. These are the activities, these are the things that will be done, and so on and so forth. So we're going to show you all this, and we're going to make sure that all the projects that we deliver here goes through the project life cycle, so you can experience everything that needs to be done at every stage. Trust me, it's not daunting at all. The moment you start, give yourself 2 weeks, 3 weeks, you'll find out that you're really progressing, and the things that you know will be really, I mean, you're going to be amazed at how much knowledge you now have. Remember, I talked about the software development life cycle, how when we're delivering softwares or systems, we'll go through the stage of the phase of analyzing the software, analyzing the requirements, designing, developing, testing, and deploying. And underneath are all the things that needs to be done under the analysis phase, all the things that will be done under the designing phase, all the things that will be done under the developing phase, how the testers will now test using test plan, test script cases, test scripts, and conduct all these different testing, and later on how that system will now be deployed. So if you're fortunate to be a part of a project where we're going to be delivering a software, or we're going to be delivering a system, we're going to go through the stages. So we've got different types of projects, yeah? So not just software, we've got different types of projects, and you can be a part of any of these projects. So I hope with these few explanations, you have a bird's eye view of what we do at JMD Consults, how we plan to make sure that you not just have training. Training is just 1/10 of what you're going to achieve with us. The training is just fundamental. In fact, it's less than 4 days or 4 Saturdays. If you're one of the people that will be working and will take the first Saturday, the moment you start the first Saturday, which is usually from 11 to 4 o'clock, on Monday you start working on projects. On Monday you start attending subsequent sessions, right? If you're at work, if the session is maybe 10 to 11, or because those sessions are kind of like 1 hour sessions, we break them 1 hour so that it's not too much or too daunting for you at a time. So let's say you're at work, you just put in your earphone and plug in and just continue working and listening to what the tutor is saying. They are live sessions. You're going to see people asking live questions. But if you can't ask questions, that's fine. You can always listen to the sessions again and again, right? So before you complete your first Saturdays, you'll find out that during the week you've been attending meetings, you've been attending sessions, you've been working on projects, and so on and so forth. So you already have 4-week worth of experience already down your belt, right? And if you're the one that we don't have a lot of people doing the Monday to Friday. However, we've got lots of people doing the Saturdays, because a lot of people are busy during the week, or they are working, and so on and so forth, which we do understand. And our mentors are always on board anyways at any time. So you're going to find out that you are not just getting trained. We don't train. However, we mentor you, we coach you, we make sure that individually you are prepared for your next role. We make sure that individually you understand all the skills, you understand how to use these tools, you understand how to work on projects, you understand what your role is in a project, you know how to defend your role, you know what to say when you go for an interview, you know how to talk to and communicate with executives. So our job is to upgrade you from that role where you are right now to a more managerial, a more project related role, yeah, to a better company where you'll be earning, better, commanding better rates. That's what we plan, and that's what we hope to achieve within this, space of time that you're with us. Yeah. So do we have any questions so far? I can now take questions. I'm just going to check the chat box. I'm going to stop recording now because obviously the session is over. This is just question session. So if you have any question, you could just raise up your hand or write it in the chat box, and I'm going to pick that now. Yeah.